Hello, and welcome to the Fabulous FRI-YAY edition of Miss Hope's Reading Hour. Welcome to all of you. So glad to be here with you all today. Happy Friday! Happy Friday, my friends. So this was a good week because Wednesday was Veterans Day. Again, thank you so much, veterans who have served our country. And today is Friday, and at least here in Philadelphia, we have half days on Fridays. So we had a little vacay, a little half day, happiness, okay? So glad to be here with you today. So sorry for the shaking of my table. Sorry. Well, how was your Thankful Thursday? What are you thankful for? What were you thankful for on Thankful Thursday? Let me see. One thing that I can think of that I was thankful for on Thursday. I'm thankful that I got to go to choir rehearsal on Thursday. So it's only a very little bit of us, a whole lot of social distancing and mask wearing until it's time for us to sing. And I love being with them because even though we're on the choir together, they are also my friends and they love me a lot. So I was thankful for that on Thankful Thursday. I was also thankful to hear my brother and my nephews having so much fun playing Monopoly before I left for choir rehearsal. They were having such a good time and like messing with each other about who was winning, who was losing, who owed money. So I was thankful for that too. All right, so 2 things. Of course, there's more if I think about it, but those were 2 things I was thankful for on Thursday. So I wonder, what were you thankful for on Thursday or even today? Because, there's always things to be thankful for, right? Well, I hope that you enjoyed the first part of your Fabulous FRI-YAY. I hope that you had time to get some rest, my teacher friends, my parent teacher friends, my student friends and young ones. Hope that you had time to take a break, maybe go outside, because it was a little rainy really early in the morning and then cleared up, the sun came out, it was nice. So hopefully you got to get some fresh air and be outside today, and that you'll get to do that tomorrow as well. Okay, now today on Miss Hope's Reading Hour, before we get to that, this wonderful music that you're hearing and the books that we will be reading today, just got to get this out of the way. Unfortunately, Miss Hope does not own the rights to any of the music or the books that we're reading, but they are here for your listening and reading enjoyment, okay? So this weekend, guess what I will be doing? Actually, as soon as I get off of Miss Hope's Reading Hour today, I will be putting in my order for more books with the donations that we had from before. Now, if you would like to donate to Miss Hope's Reading Hour library, please feel free to look at the ticker below, and all of the information that you need in order to donate to Miss Hope's Reading Hour library is right in that ticker. You can either donate via Cash App or send digital gift cards or a request to send books straight to me to the email address, okay? Now, today, we are talking about good days. Questions about good days. So, what is a good day for you? And how can you make someone else's day good? That's what we're going to talk about in our first 2 books. Let's look at what they are. All right, so our first book is called Daniel's Good Day. Daniel's Good Day. This book is by Misha Archer. Daniel's Good Day. All right, so I think that this is a Penguin publishing book. Oh, okay. So this is a Nancy Paulson book, an imprint of Penguin Random House. It's the publisher of this book. Daniel's Good Day. So we're going to talk about what makes a good day for Daniel and maybe discover if some of those things make a good day for us too. All right, and the next book that we're going to read is called Birdsong. Sorry about the reflection on there from the light. It's called Birdsong, and this book is by Julie Flett. Let's see who publishes this book. Okay, so this is a Greystone Kids, Greystone Books book. That is the publisher. So, Birdsong. And of course, we will continue having a good day by Walking with Miss Millie by Tamara Bundy. So we are almost done this book. We may finish this book. So this is how much we have left of Walking with Miss Millie. We got to find out about Alice's dad. In this little bit, we're going to find out about Alice's dad, what's happening to Miss Millie, if Alice is ever going to really become comfortable with being in Rainbow, Georgia, find out more about Pam and her McHale brothers and their dad. I think this is going to be a packed few chapters that we have to finish, okay? Well, now let us get to our first book, Daniel's Good Day by Misha Archer. All right. Daniel knows many people in his neighborhood. Have a good day, they tell him as he walks to Grandma's house. What a nice looking neighborhood. I wouldn't mind living in a neighborhood that looked like that. Excuse me, he says to Mrs. Sanchez, but what makes a good day for you? When skies are clear so I can paint, she tells him. Oh, so she's a painter. I would love to paint a house one time. I think that would be a cool thing to do. He sees Emma heading to the park with a kite. What makes a good day for you? Daniel asks. A steady wind, says Emma. I remember making kites when I was younger. It was so much fun. A day in the park with a bench in the shade, his neighbors tell him. A long nap for the babies, the nanny says. Oh, they do not look happy. They're sleepy. A please and a thank you, says the bus driver. Bees on flowers, says the gardener. That's definitely a good thing for the flowers. You need the bees to pollinate. Birthdays, says the baker. Wagging tails, says the mail carrier. Probably wagging tails inside the gate and not outside. The newsstand seller tells him, busy sidewalks and friendly faces. Everybody home safe, says the crossing guard. When Daniel gets to Grandma's, she tells him, a hug from you makes my day good. Grandmas and grandpas love hugs from their grandchildren. In the afternoon, Daniel walks home with Grandma. The gardener is humming along with the bees. The baker and the bus driver are smiling. Emma has found her wind. The babies are sleeping. The couple sits on a shady bench. Lots of people seem to be having a good day everywhere. At home, his mom asks, how was your day, Daniel? I had such a good day. I guess so. He saw a lot, got to talk to a lot of people. There was a clear sky, a steady wind, a shady bench, a long nap, but not for me. Pleases and thank yous, bees on flowers, but not at a birthday picnic. Wagging tails, busy sidewalks, friendly faces, hugs from Grandma and from you, and everybody home safe, says Grandma. How about some ice cream on your good day, Daniel? Yes, Daniel says, that will make a perfect day. The end. Well, he certainly had a good day. I like this book. It's a very nice book. Makes you think about what would make someone else's day good. And that if someone else's day is good, that can make you feel good about that day too. I like this book. And it's very colorful. And if you notice, if you decide to get this book, which would be a good idea, you'll notice that the pictures are made by collages. A collage is when you take different pieces of paper and you put it together to make pictures. So that's pretty cool. I like this book. Daniel's Good Day. What would make a good day for me? Let me think. A good day, of course, is reading on Miss Hope's Reading Hour with you all. That makes a good day. Ending the day with ice cream. That definitely makes a good day. I agree with Daniel. That makes a good day. Laughing with my family. That makes a good day. Us being silly together. That definitely makes a good day. I have to get to the other book because if I think about what would make a good day for me, I could be here all day with you all. Okay. And then we would all have to say what would make a good day for us too. So we'd be here all day talking about what makes a good day and what we're thankful for, which is probably what makes a good day for us anyway. All right, let's focus, okay? We got to get to the next book called Bird Song by Julie Flett. Let's hear what's going on in this book. I like the pictures in this book too. Of course, as an artist, I always like pictures. So, spring. It's a mucky spring morning as we pack the last of our belongings and leave our little home in the city by the sea. I'm going to miss my friends and cousins and aunties and uncles. I'm going to miss my bedroom window and the tree outside. Goodbye, tree friend, I whisper. We drive through the country and over the mountains, alongside rivers and fields of horses. We stop to see a lone coyote crossing the road. Look at the little coyote at the bottom of the page. Of course, it looks little on the page, but coyotes are not little. Our new home sits on a hill overlooking a field, and past it, another home. In that home lives an older woman named Agnes. The field is covered with snowdrops. Our new home has 2 trees outside. Excuse me. And creaky stairs inside. My new room has a shelf for books and pictures and a desk for drawing. But I don't feel like drawing. My hands are cold. My mom and I bundle up together under the covers in our new home in the country, far from the sea. Summer. Our new home hums with peeps and whistles and ribbits and chirps. I watch Agnes, our neighbor, working on something in her yard. Why don't you visit her, Katerina? My mom says. I nod. Okay. I take our dog, Ono, with me. Ono means owl in Cree. Hello, Agnes, I say. You must be Katerina, she says. Woof, Ono barks. Your mom has told me all about you, Agnes says. She says you love to draw. I do. Agnes loves to make things out of clay. She shows us around her yard. There are berries and flowers and so many of her clay things. They look like the branches and birds and flowers. Visit me again soon, Katerina, Agnes says with a smile. I smile back and give her a big wave. I can't wait to go home and start drawing. Next season, fall. I do visit Agnes again and again and again. Agnes digs in her garden. I help by gathering extra leaves that'll get mixed into the soil. Worms love this. It's getting cold and windy and creaky. Agnes says she's getting creaky too. Would you like to see what I'm working on, Katerina? She asks. I'd like to, I say. Agnes is working on a pot that's round and bright. She tells me about waxing and waning moons. I tell her about Cree seasons. This month is called Pimi Hawippisim. Pimi Hawippisim. That's in the Cree language. The migrating moon. Here comes the moon and two shiny seagulls. And there go the geese. Next season, summer, fall, winter. The season we will be in very soon. It's Ono's first snow. We toboggan until my snowsuit is soggy and Ono is covered in tiny snowballs. After, we warm up with Mom by the fire and then help her finish making salmon stew to share with Agnes. That sounds so good. Agnes hasn't been out as much and needs a little help over the summer. She likes the salmon stew. Her daughter, who has come to stay for a while, likes it too. Agnes sends me home with a cup full of bulbs, snowdrop bulbs to plant in the field next autumn. They look like tiny moons. They give me more ideas for pictures. My fingers itch in my mittens. Got the drawing itch again. So, summer, fall, winter. Next is spring. Ooh, her picture of the snowdrops is beautiful. Agnes has grown weaker over the winter. Still, from her bed, we can hear the spring birds singing their songs, the tickle of the branches against her window. We listen to the sounds together. The snowdrops are peeking out. I wish Agnes could see them. I have an idea. I run home and gather up all of my drawings. Agnes's daughter meets me at the door, and we take 2 ladders from the closet. When we're done, Agnes says it's like a poem for her heart. Then I sit with Agnes and talk about making things, mucky things, and things with string and song and paper and words. And then we sit quietly together on Agnes's bed until it's time to say goodbye. Look at what she put on her walls, her and her daughter. That's beautiful. I leave with an ache in my heart, but I'm so glad to know my friend Agnes. Hello, Mom. Hello, Ono. Hello, home, with 2 trees and creaky stairs. Later that night, I kipisim. In the Cree language, the frog moon is full. My mom and I bundle up together in our home. My hands feel warm and the covers feel soft, and I think of my friend until I fall asleep. The end. Oh, that was a lovely story. So even though she did not want to Katerina did not want to move from the sea to the country, she made a new friend. I just thought of something. Isn't that just like what happened to Alice? She moved from Ohio and now she's living in Rainbow, Georgia, and she made friends with an older neighbor and they've become really good friends. Kind of the same as what has happened with Katerina in Birdsong. And she worked and did something every day to make Agnes's day a good day. First, she went over and introduced herself. Then she kept going over to her house to make friends with her. Then when she wasn't feeling well in the winter and needed more help, Katerina helped her mother to make salmon stew. Salmon is like one of my most favorite things in the whole wide world. I could probably eat it every day, okay? She made salmon stew for Miss Agnes and her daughter. And then when Miss Agnes couldn't get outside to see the flowers starting to bloom and see the birds flying in the air in the spring, she decided to bring all of her pictures of the birds over to Miss Agnes's house and put them all over the walls in her room so that she could see the birds in her imagination and feel free, just like the birds on the walls. Very nice story. Birdsong by Julie Flett. Very nice story about how all of your friends don't necessarily need to be your age. Of course, with your parents' permission, you can make friends with an older or elderly neighbor, and they would love to have you come around. But of course, you first need to have your parents' permission, and they need to know the person whose house that you're going over. Okay? Very nice story. Now, let us get back to Walking with Miss Millie. So we are in chapter 24. Let me take the dust jacket off. I'm so happy that I learned that this is called a dust jacket and not just a cover. Dust jackets. Can you tell Miss Hope likes to learn new things? Can you tell? All right, so in the last chapter, we learned some more about the McHale brothers. And finally, Alice has decided to ride the bike that Mr. O'Brien brought for her that used to belong to his daughter. Of course, she doesn't like Mr. O'Brien yet because she wants her daddy to come back to Rainbow. And I think she has a sneaking suspicion that he kind of likes her mother. And she does not like that at all, okay? So, she decides to ride the bike, go to the library, but she hears her mother talking about how it's totally unfair that her dad is not calling her, not calling to talk to Alice, and that she understands that maybe he doesn't want to be with her, doesn't want to be with her mom, but that her dad needs to still call and talk to the children. And then she heard that her dad is trying to still find himself, and that made her very upset. So Alice, without her mother knowing that she had been in the library, she leaves, gets on her bike, flies home, and puts all of those letters in the ground in her grandmother's garden. So she figures, I guess if you're forgetting us, maybe we should forget you. But who knows? It may not turn out that way. We still have to see if her dad will show up. If her mom actually does like Mr. O'Brien, if she may become friends with the McHale brothers and not just Pam, the McHale sister. And what's really going on with Miss Alice? Miss Millie. So now we are in chapter 24 of Walking with Miss Millie. A crash came from the house, followed by the sound of glass shattering. I ran into the kitchen and heard the commotion coming from Grandma's room. Eddie saw me run in and followed me into Grandma's room. We found her standing in front of a broken mirror, her hands raised to her face, bright red blood dripping from one hand down her arm and onto the floor. "Grandma!" I hollered. Eddie started to walk closer to her, but I motioned for him to stop because of all the glass on the floor. Watching my step and walking more careful than I'd ever walked before, I made my way to Grandma. Grandma looked at me like she was a little girl and I was going to scold her for breaking the mirror. "I'm sorry," was all she could say, over and over. "I'm sorry." "It's okay, Grandma. Please sit down and I'll try to help you." I didn't know whether to clean up the glass so no one else got hurt by it or clean up Grandma's bleeding hand first. My head and heart were racing. "Mother?" Relief washed over me when I heard my mama's grandma. Mama grabbed a towel and tiptoed over the glass to help Grandma, who was sitting on the bed now, stammering about how the woman in the mirror scared her and how she had hit the mirror to make that strange old lady go away. "Don't worry, it's okay," Mama said in a soft voice, soothing Grandma. I was standing next to Eddie, who held tight to my waist as we watched Mama finish wrapping Grandma's hand. Once Mama had stopped the bleeding, she led Grandma around the glass and toward the door, saying to me, "Sweetie, I'm going to take Grandma to Dr. Riley. If he's not there, I might have to take her to a hospital to get her cut checked out. We'll talk when I get back. I heard you were at the library today. That's why I came home early. Honey, I'm so sorry." Eddie and I followed them outside and watched the car pull out of the driveway. I started to let a tear fall, but saw that Eddie was scared and was looking at me like I was the last person he had. And I guessed maybe I was. I signed to him that everything was going to be okay. Grandma would be fine and Mama would be home soon. Maybe if I told him that enough, I'd start to believe it too. Eddie and I had been in the backyard for less than half an hour when the sky changed. 1 minute, it was a normal, hot and sticky Georgia summer afternoon. The next, the wind started blowing this air that made the trees move like they were dancing in rhythm. Then it grew as dark as I'd seen it get before bedtime, looking like nature knew what was coming and decided it was time to cut off the lights for a bigger effect. Maybe nature knew what was happening, but I sure didn't, and neither did Eddie. He's a pretty tough little guy. Maybe not hearing the scary things in life makes him less fearful. But when the world looks like it might be ending, I suppose that is even scarier when you can't hear. As soon as the wind started blowing, he grabbed me, sticking as close to me as one person could stick to another without completely becoming that person. I tried to walk with him in that position so we could get back inside, but it was dang near impossible because there hadn't been any rain. The ground was nothing but a mixture of dried leaves, brown grass, clay, and dust. And as soon as the wind started to blow, everything on the ground got lifted into the air and stirred up like it was in a huge Georgia blender. Something flew in Eddie's eye. He screamed like his eye had just been poked out as he let go of me and cupped his hands over his entire face. It's not easy to reason with Eddie when he's upset, but when a boy who listens with his eyes can't see, there is no use to even try. Still, I tried to get him to come toward the house with me. That's when I heard the sound of rain coming like the roar of an engine over my screaming brother. And no sooner did I hear it than I saw it and felt it. Instead of just rain, it felt more like heaven opening to spill everything and everybody back to earth. And while this was happening, Eddie started running with his eyes clenched shut in circles. I would have laughed at how it reminded me of Clarence running blind in a circle the way he does sometimes. But I wasn't in a laughing mood. I knew we needed to get inside fast, but now the wind was blowing so fierce and the rain was falling so hard, I could only see a few feet in front of me in the dark, and Eddie wasn't there. There was no point in hollering for him, and as scared as I was for me, I was 10 times more scared for him to be running mostly blind and completely deaf in this storm. Then a flash of lightning hit, and the lights that were on in Grandma's house were gone. Gone too was the wind and the rain. All at once, everything was quiet. Real quiet. Too quiet. I stood, froze to the ground, not knowing what to do. That's when I did the only thing I could do. I started to yell. All the frustration and disappointment that I'd swallowed all these months seemed to come out at once. It started in my toes and rose up and out of me like a volcano waiting to release lava it'd been holding for years. I screamed and screamed. Then, over my own wails, I heard a familiar voice. "Hey, Alice girl." I stopped screaming. I didn't see her, but I could hear her. "You gonna stand there and blow away, or you're gonna come in and join your brother and me inside?" Chapter 25. Never had I been so happy to hear that crackling voice. I squinted into the wind and walked toward the direction of her voice. "Miss Millie, Eddie's with you?" As sure as I stand here, he plumb jumped the fence and ran right into my house and into my arms, he did. I figured someone had to be looking for him. "Yes, ma'am. Mama had to take Grandma to the hospital," I started explaining when I saw Miss Millie at the fence, but she interrupted me. "Maybe you can tell me all about it inside the house. We don't get many tornadoes in these here parts, but I'm not liking the look of those clouds." And at the mention of tornado, I too was inside Miss Millie's house and practically in her arms. When I got inside, Eddie was curled up with Clarence. As soon as Eddie saw me, he ran to me. I could see his eyes were red from whatever had got stuck in there. But I guess my eyes were red too. "I think we'll be fine, but just to be safe, we should go down to the cellar." Now, I like cellars about as much as I used to like cemeteries. But I like the idea of a tornado even less. So, me and Eddie and Clarence all followed her. The cellar smelled musty, and I sneezed the second we got to the last step. From the candle Miss Millie held, I could see nothing but cobwebs and canning jars. I was getting ready to say maybe we didn't have to be in the cellar when I heard the rattle of the wind against the cellar door that led to the outside. The wind was knocking so hard, it was like it was demanding to come in. Miss Millie led the way to a couple of chairs. Here you go, a little dusty, but it'll do. I sat down on a chair, and Eddie again almost climbed into my skin. Then Miss Millie, with Clarence right at her feet, sat down. As soon as she did, Eddie leaped off my lap and climbed into Miss Millie's lap. Miss Millie smiled, and her eyes glistened as he buried his head into her chest and shut his eyes. The wind continued to knock at the cellar door as my brother clung to Miss Millie and she stroked the curls on his head like I imagined she used to do to her own little boy so long ago. Then she looked at me. You need a blanket? The rain got you good. I felt a chill from being wet as soon as Eddie left my lap, but I wasn't in any mood to be comforted. So I just shrugged and answered, nah. Miss Millie continued to stroke Eddie's hair as she looked at me with a sad smile. So what's got you so upset tonight? I still wasn't ready to talk. I shrugged. I don't like tornadoes. Oh, fiddlesticks. That's not the reason, Alice girl. Now tell me the truth. When I saw you outside, you were cursing at the heavens. And believe me, I know cursing at the heavens when I see it. What's got you? I folded my legs up so that I could wrap my arms around them. Resting my chin on my knees, I stared at Miss Millie, but said nothing. All righty then. If you want us to sit here and stare at each other, I guess I got nothing better to do. She stared back with such a concentrated expression. I had to look away before I did something I didn't want to do, like smile. But in spite of wanting to wallow in my bad mood a while longer, I guess I needed to talk even more. So I looked at her and I told her. I told her about Eddie getting hurt and running away and me being scared. I told her about Grandma breaking the mirror and cutting her hand. I told her all about Daddy's broken promises and the buried letters. I told her about Daddy looking for himself and me looking for him too. And I told her I might have finally realized that Grandma wasn't ever getting better and Daddy wasn't ever coming back. And near the end of my telling, I heard the wind stop knocking. I heard the soft sound of Eddie's snoring. And then, when I was done telling, I heard Miss Millie. Alice girl, you know one thing I learned with all my disappointments and loss? I shook my head. I learned it's okay to get mad. It's okay to get sad. But after all that getting mad and sad, you gotta get smart. You gotta take a step back, away from all your hurting, and figure out what you can change and what you can't. I sat there listening, kind of wishing I had that blanket after all, but I wasn't ready to admit Miss Millie was right about that or any of it. She cleared her throat and continued, talking softly, shielding Eddie's ears. like she forgot he couldn't hear. Sweetie, I don't know your daddy from Adam, but I have to say you're not going to change him. A leopard don't change his spots. Seem like he's moving on with his life. Maybe one day he'll realize what amazing kids he's missing out on knowing. But until then, you can't worry about him so much you'll waste the love of the people around you. I heard Miss Millie continue on. And your mama. I think she's doing the best she can. For you, for this little guy, for her sick mama, just like you're doing the best you can. We're all in this great big world just bumping around each other, trying to do the best we can. Her voice trailed off a bit. I knew her breathing was getting heavier. She was starting to wheeze again from all the talking. I watched her there with Eddie curled up on her lap in the damp, musty cellar. I watched her still stroking his hair, all soft-like. All the while she was trying to make me feel better. I let her words come into my ears and rattle right through me before I wiped my eyes on my still wet shirt. The lights started to flicker back on, and I was thinking the storm was officially over. I wondered if Mama would be home and thinking we got blown away in the storm. Miss Millie must have read my mind. Wonder if we need to get you two back before your mama gets home and worries herself to death. I think it's safe now. Feel better? There was still a lot I wasn't happy about. There was still stuff I didn't like. But if I thought real hard, the kind where your thinking goes all the way down to your soul, I had to admit, I did feel better. Well, my friends, oh man. So chapter 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. So I will stop there, my friends. Wow. So that was really a powerful 2 chapters there. The storm that came out of nowhere. Ooh, I experienced that here. Heard the tornado warning. Never been through a tornado. I told my family, I think we need to get in the basement. And some of them were like, well, I don't hear anything. And then all of a sudden there was a wild wind. I heard something hit the house and I was like, we need to get in the basement. And I started screaming and stuff. But I understand how scary that is. And I also understand how sometimes all of your frustration builds up. And sorry, my nose is itchy. And sometimes all you need is that one thing for all of your frustrations to pour out. And that storm and the wind and the rain and losing Eddie all in one quick moment was that one thing that Alice needed for all of her frustration to come out. But good thing Miss Millie was there to welcome her once again into her home to be safe. And she talked to her and she said, sometimes you can't change people or things. And it's okay to be mad and it's okay to be sad. But then you have to think about, well, what am I going to do with the being sad and the being mad? And you got to get smart and think about, well, what good things do I have around me? The people who do love me and who are there. The things I do have, even though there's things that I want and need. I know in this time where we've been home and things have not been the way that we're used to them being, it can be really easy to think about all the things that we can't do, all the people that we can't see. But I am very glad that many of us have gotten smart. And after all of our frustration, all of our anger, all of us being sad about what we can't do and what we don't have, that we've become really grateful for the things that we do have and the people that we do have and the things that we can do. I am thankful that I got smart and I decided, I miss my kids, my school kids, my after school program kids. I miss being with them. So, what should I do? At first, I felt a little powerless of how to connect with them. But then, just like Miss Millie said, I got smart. And that is how Miss Hope's Reading Hour was born. It was born out of me wanting to be creative in how I can still connect with the students that I worked with. And now I'm so glad that I get to connect with all of you and them. Great book. I'm so glad I picked this one to read. The first one that I got to pick. So glad I picked it. Here's the dust jacket again. Walking with Miss Millie by Tamara Bundy. Miss Bundy, I must look up more of your books. This is also a Nancy Paulson book, an imprint of Penguin Young Readers Group. Also, just like Birdsong. Oh, no. Just like Daniel's Good Day. So, with all of that being said, thank you so much for joining me on this Fabulous FRI-YAY on Miss Hope's Reading Hour. Have a great weekend. And even in the times, I don't know what you may be going through, but if during this time you are mad, you are sad, you are frustrated, take Miss Millie's advice. Understand it's okay to be mad. It's okay to be sad. But after you've done all of your getting mad, all of your being sad, all of your being frustrated, get smart. My young ones and my older ones, get smart. Start thinking about, what do I have? What can I be grateful for? And what can I do? What can I change? And what I can't change? And be okay, maybe just for a little while, with what you can't change, and change what you can. Well, with all of that being said, have a great weekend, and I can't wait to see you right back here on a marvelous Monday on Miss Hope's Reading Hour. Until then, my friends,